Real talk, the metaphor messiah, man. I got this one. Let's go. You ever seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, a pothead like the 70s, a different kind of mind. They say we only speak in melodies.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dead on Dave coming at you live from Germany. And yes, that has nothing to do with PewDiePie's allegations. No, because PewDiePie is obviously a Nazi and not a Nazi, as we all already know. Come on now. Do we have to really go over that again? No, but I brought it up, so it doesn't really matter. How you guys doing today? Pretty good? The world falling apart? Everybody going crazy? Videos, responses, everybody's making videos on it. Everybody's trying to cash in. Everybody's trying to talk about it. Everybody's trying to get their name out there. So am I, so am we. We're all doing it together. But this time it matters. That's the difference between this and all of the other videos that people try to cash in on and get their names out there about. This one actually really matters, man. This time there's a little bit more seriousness to this entire situation. A few weeks back, I coined a phrase, really proud of it. One of the things I'm very proud of my time here on YouTube. There is a war for context, not war on context. That one's already been fought and won. This is the war for context. Much different war. It's happening. It's going all around us. It's happening each and every single day right here on YouTube. YouTube is such a growing entity. It's different than anything else that's ever existed before in media. It's uncontrollable. So there's all kinds of wars and fights being fought. It happens all the time. So people ask themselves the question, why in the world did all this happen to PewDiePie? He's the biggest guy on the block with the most to lose, and he did some questionable shit. Now, whether or not you feel it's questionable, it's completely irrelevant, but the people who have prior power that are trying desperately to hang on to the influence, to the power, and all of that stuff, they have something to lose, and they feel that they found something that they can attack. All 9 of the incidents that are being referenced in all of these videos, these outing videos and such, by the Wall Street Journal and other entities that are just copying what the Wall Street Journal did. They're just desperately trying to find anything that they can and knock off the biggest guy on the block because he has the most to lose and he might be the easiest to manipulate. Not that PewDiePie himself is an easily manipulable person, malleable person, but fear is an incredible thing. And if you can do something that's visceral and can pull on the heartstrings and get people talking and get people sending hate and thought and all of this crazy stuff, really it's the lack of thought that's the real scary thing, right? Because if you can get people just completely being emotionally invested in something without thinking about it too hard, well, then you can get them to do incredible things, right? You can get them to influence the biggest guy on YouTube to maybe apologize, to maybe take down videos, to maybe pledge his allegiance to you, that previous relevant source of media. Maybe he'll bow down to you if you can get him, I don't know, removed from his network. We can influence Disney to make one of the stupidest business moves that they've made in quite a long time. We can influence YouTube into canceling a show that not a lot of people cared about anyway. They can influence YouTube into taking away extra advertising for a demographic that really doesn't watch them anymore. Point is, a lot of it is meaningless. The biggest thing that really happened here is that 100 innocent people lost their jobs. That's probably the biggest tragedy that happened. But maybe if we can pressure PewDiePie into doing these things, then he'll bow down and he'll get on board with our agenda. Or he will go and cut the best fucking response video that has ever been done in any situation quite like this and simply give you the finger for being so brazen and doing your job so poorly. Now, I have criticized PewDiePie in the past for some of these response videos to the media. In fact, in the last couple of weeks, I've done more videos on PewDiePie than I ever thought I would ever do on the whole of YouTube drama. But the fact is, I'm in this situation now. You know, this is a lot of my interest is going on in this community. So this interests me. And when it borders on everything with free speech and censorship and context. It really interests me because I've always taken an interest in shit like that. So it bothers me when stuff like this happens. So in the last couple of weeks, I've done more videos on PewDiePie than I ever thought I would do on all of drama ever. And in those videos, I've been critical of PewDiePie going after the media because basically my entire logic was, you're the top dog, suck it up, buttercup, this is how it goes. But when you go back and you watch some of the things that PewDiePie was saying in those previous videos, he seemed to take it more offensive that I thought he did, because maybe he saw something that I just didn't see. He knew something bigger was coming that I didn't know. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he was still overreacting. But I can tell you what he's not now. He's not overreacting now, because over the last couple of days, this attack on PewDiePie has gone from simply going after the big dog, simply going after the guy on top with the most to lose, to just pure nonsensical and insane attacks. Problem is, they're not illegal. More than likely. Now, I'm not a legal expert, but I do know enough to probably be dangerous. And what I know about slander is real simple. As long as you have the facts, the actual event, as long as the core of that is correct, your opinion doesn't matter. You can make any opinion, you can put any slant on it as you want. Now, I made this reference the other day. I'll make the same analogy now. If PewDiePie would have went into a Burger King and David Duke would have just been in the same Burger King, and some dickhead reporter would have taken a picture and they would have ran a fucking story, PewDiePie dines at Burger King with David Duke, white supremacist. That's slander. But when PewDiePie uploads videos where he willingly puts himself in situations potentially compromising, context doesn't have to matter to the person who's giving an opinion on what actually happened. Fact is, PewDiePie did say some things that could be taken however the listener, the viewer, or dickhead reporter wants to take it. Is it a scumbag move? Yes. Is it absolutely terrible fucking hack journalism of the highest order? Yes. Should it be illegal? Yes. Is it? I don't think it is. And that's the thing that we're talking about. So there's a lot of people that are throwing around a lot of words right now that I don't think necessarily apply. That being one of them, slander being one of them. Censorship is another one. PewDiePie wasn't censored by anybody. If PewDiePie changes his content, it's going to be of his own volition. Now, if you watched his video today, his brilliant response video today, you can make the only criticism that I think that is really fair to PewDiePie on this video is the fact that he apologized at all. I say a lot on this channel to own your shit. To own what, that doesn't mean apologize. That means just accept what's being said about you, drink water and drive on. He shouldn't have made an apology. Part of that video where he started saying, look, I understand this and I understand that, you're giving power to the argument when you do that. And the argument really has no validity until he gave it to it. So he didn't give it to it a lot, but I do think he made that small, minor misstep. And it might be the only thing that saves any of the media outlets from totally getting smashed. Because some people, the way their brains work, they're going to be like, well, PewDiePie did acknowledge that he did wrong, so that's enough, right? Maybe the Wall Street Journal's not so bad. PewDiePie's acknowledging part of it, so maybe the rest of it's true. That's why you don't apologize. That's why you just get your message across and just keep hammering it home. Keep that middle finger in the air, PewDiePie. That's all you really had to do. The other things that you did that were absolutely brilliant in this video was you humanized and gave perspective to this situation like nobody on YouTube has been able to do. Obviously, you have more insight because it's your situation. You know more about everything that's happening with you than anybody else. I love that you knocked on the back of your wall, said there's no producer back there. There's no writer in front of the camera. I love that you said that. I love that you also said the only thing that you guys really did Wall Street Journal and all that, was get a show get taken off the air that employed 100 people. It's the most poignant line that you made in the entire video. Everything else was about yourself, which is completely fine because this is about you. But when you make it about the people that depend on you and the people that you affect inadvertently because of your success, you make a much stronger point, especially when a big crux of your video was about them talking about your money. So what you did was you took their point that they were using against you, your money and your fame. You used the exact same point and you painted it in a beautiful, positive light that they actually took away. Fucking brilliant. It is one of the best spins on perspective I think I've seen maybe ever on YouTube. And I never would have expected to see it from PewDiePie. I mean, it was really brilliant. By the way, thank you for your donation. Jab's killing them. I appreciate that. It's pretty damn crazy. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. I thought it was brilliantly done. It was brilliantly handled. And I didn't see it coming. When I started first watching the video, and the first thing he says is, "My name is Felix." His last name's unpronounceable to an idiot like me. When he opens the video like that, I'm like, oh shit. Because I thought that we were going to get some of the same grandstanding, self-promoting, self-loathing almost, poor me type video that we've gotten at him slightly in the past. One of my biggest criticisms of a very similar video that he's done about media before was he didn't talk about his actions and how they affected other people. The people that he directly affected, the Five are funny guys. This video, he talks about the actions and how they affect others that depend on him. Brilliant. Brilliant. He got emotional at the end of the video. And Tommy C, my good buddy, who was on earlier with him tonight over at Tommy C's SFTP, and he talked about that was one of the only times that he can ever really recall a YouTuber's tears being real. I don't know how many YouTubers cry real tears. I'm not as jaded as Tommy is on that. But this one's unquestionable. The heavy crown weighs more than you could ever fucking imagine. When you're king, the burdens of the people that depend on you alone are just massive. Let alone all the responsibility that you probably feel you have to your family and friends, supporters, acquaintances, people who you work with on videos that probably get juice from you, even though it's not like a favor type thing, but it is something that's a benefit. Every day you're being criticized, misrepresented in ways simply to destroy you. God, that's a fucking burden, isn't it? I don't know if I ever really thought about it until today. Not at least in PewDiePie. I mean, most of the time when I talk about PewDiePie in the situation, it's a suck it up, buttercup, poor little rich boy, but you can't after this one. After this video, it's impossible because he humanized the entire situation. He did it in a brilliant manner. It simply couldn't have been done any better. It was perfect. It was perfect because it's something that everybody has to take a second and ruminate on. Everybody can relate to it. There was nothing unrelatable about this video. Every creator that watches it, you feel the same type of empathy towards them for it. It's pretty damn incredible. I didn't think I was going to react that way. I really didn't. It was pretty damn cool. A few things else I want to talk about before we get to your calls, because I do want to hear what you guys have to think about PewDiePie's video. I really want to know how you're reacting to it. Are people getting on the bandwagon? I want to know. I want to know what you guys are thinking. So we are going to take your calls and questions. A couple things I do want to talk about. One being the Idubbbz comparison, because it is a killer to almost any argument with the Maker Studios decision. I still think Maker has every right to do what they did. It's stupid. They shouldn't have done it because it's nonsensical. But if you don't want someone representing your company, it's completely right. The biggest challenge to that is, well, why Idubbbz? Why Idubbbz is there? Why PewDiePie? Well, it really does just come down to numbers. Idubbbz is a massive YouTuber, but there's about 15 times the reason why Idubbbz got dropped, or Idubbbz is staying on rather, and PewDiePie got dropped. He's 15 times bigger than Idubbbz and far much more mainstream. You know, the average mainstream non-YouTube viewer, no idea who Idubbbz is. No idea. There's a good chance they know who PewDiePie is. PewDiePie has been on late night talk shows. He's starting to make the transition over. He's the closest to real mainstream, real red carpet Hollywood type guy that we have in the YouTube community. I mean, FouseyTube and some others have been in some movies and such, but it's not the same thing. 53 million, and probably by the end of this situation, closer to 60 million subscribers. And so many on followers on Twitter and all these other social media accounts. You cannot just take a second. God, it's a lot of power. It's a lot of influence. It's more than I even really gave him credit for having. It's so goddamn much. And that's why he gets bumped and Idubbbz still flies under the radar. If Idubbbz ends up going up to 15, 20 million subscribers in the next year, maybe Maker Studios takes on a completely different tone. Maybe they drop him as well. Maybe that's already in the works. It's interesting. I don't know. But maybe that could be the reason why. Maybe it could be the reason why. It could just simply come down to numbers. Also, while I was on Shot from the Point tonight, Tommy C's SFTP, we talked about one big thing that I do want to get into once again, J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling, of all people, getting into this situation for absolutely no reason whatsoever is laughable, it's detestable, and it's one of the most counterproductive things I think she's ever done. Yes, even more counterproductive than trying to get the sexual orientation of Dumbledore correct, even though there was never any clue or reason to think that Dumbledore was a homosexual in the books. But hey, apparently there was. I'm still waiting for the revised version where Dumbledore gives Snape a hand job in the Chamber of Secrets. That's one secret that'll never get out. But I guess we're not going to get it now because Miss Rowling's getting her ass beat the hell in Backlash. Not a lot of support going on in the situation because I think most sane people, really on either side of the aisle, they kind of, when there's no context given to allegations of being a fascist, being a Nazi, other than simply looking like one from the exterior, it's hard to get on board with that, especially from somebody who you wouldn't think would have an opinion on the situation in the first place. I highly doubt J.K. Rowling's ever watched a PewDiePie video, let alone anybody else's. But if she goes and calls him a fascist, wants to link him to the Nazi party, what the fuck? I'm a big fan of the Harry Potter series. Huge fan. I rethink my position after this, and I'm not one that does that. You know, there's been a lot of movies in my life and a lot of music and a lot of wrestlers that I have liked, actors that have turned out to be complete scumbags, sociopaths, and in some cases even murderers. Never changed my opinion of their collective work prior. Chris Benoit, for instance. I knew Chris Benoit a little bit when I was in Las Vegas. I knew him a little. I had dinner with him a few times at the Excalibur with my mother. Knew him a little. One of the greatest wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. ended up murdering his wife and son and then killing himself. Those acts never made me rethink the wrestler that he was or the guy that I had dinner with. Never. They're heinous. It doesn't get much worse than double murder suicide. But I don't look at a Chris Benoit match and go, no, I don't. Never have. There's been authors. There's been musicians. All the allegations against Michael Jackson. I still tap my toes to motherfucking Thriller every time I hear it. I sit through the 9.5-minute version of Thriller music video every Halloween when it comes on. It doesn't matter to me. It's never really changed my opinion on the art. But I'm having a hard time even thinking of ever watching a Harry Potter movie again, let alone letting my daughter get into the books, because I'm worried about what type of fucking crazy ass messages might be transmitted through those fucking pages into my daughter's mind. What a fucking whack job does it take to come out and speak out against a guy with absolutely no credence, no fucking proof, no evidence, and probably no real understanding of the situation? What hypocritical fucking bullshit is that? I mean, really? Oh my God. It completely has changed my mindset on the bitch's work. It's fucking crazy to me. It's just, there's so much more that's happening. PewDiePie, at the end of his video, at the end of this brilliant response, once again, I will call it perfect, because the only thing, I wish he wouldn't apologized, but other than that, everything else was great. The big thing that he did at the end, where he thanked all of the YouTubers who have been supporting him, and the outpouring of YouTubers that have come out today, Keemstar, H3H3, Ty Blue, who went back at Miss fucking Dumblefuck. So many people who have come out in support of Mr. PewDiePie's, including a video by Pyrocynical I just watched that was really well done. He seemed to have real emotional attachment to that support. It seemed real, seemed legitimate. Before we all start giving ourselves hand jobs and giving the YouTuber next to us hand jobs, a lot of the people who are commenting, there's self-serving reasons behind it. And a lot of the times I would call that out. I would. And I would say it's bullshit. It's money grab. Even what I'm doing right now, putting PewDiePie in the picture and the description and the title, all of that. It's self-serving. This isn't going to be one of them. Because like I said at the beginning of this video, this is a much bigger topic because it does affect us in a way. And a lot of people are going to say that Tommy C's crazy once again for throwing around some of the words that he threw around early in his video when he basically slammed his fist on the table and said, "This is war." It is. It may not be the type of war that he or even any of you are thinking about. It may not be all that serious. It may not even be a war where there's a lot of change that ends up at the end. The biggest victims of this war or casualties might be some of these assholes who have written some of these articles. However, what's going to really be won during this war is context. People are going to start seeing, especially if there's major backlash against like Verizon and Disney and Dumblefuck and all of these people who are doing these heinous acts, and they are heinous, disparaging remarks towards PewDiePie for absolutely no reason in this context, in this massive a scale, because scale does matter. It's heinous. If there is a major backlash against these people, the way people interpret context from this moment on changes dramatically because consequences now rear their head. You're going to be a hell of a lot slower to throw around baseless accusations without regard of someone's context if you know that a serious shitstorm could be following right behind it. That's just human survival instincts. You don't climb up the tree that is taller than the others during a lightning storm. If you see 5 vans, you don't go to the white one with no windows. It's just survival. So it's a deterrent. And that's what's going to be won during this war. There's not going to be any major changes in the media. The media is still going to be the media. I believe that. People who watch 60 Minutes and are swayed by some of the nightly news and different reports that come out, they're going to be swayed just as easily tomorrow. That's not going to change. What is changing is the validity and the integrity and the reputation of this little thing called social media. Because Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all these places, Instagram, that you could post videos, you can get instant reactions to, they all connect us faster than ever before. Faster, I mean, really, you think about it, it's easier than making a phone call in some instances. I now contact my mom through Facebook more times than I do a phone. I live in Germany, so it makes more sense financially because it's free. But, you know, it's just kind of funny. There's this new way of interacting. There's this new way of being able to contact people through video, and people can see my hand motions and things behind me, and they can decide, hey, that guy's got a gizmo behind him. Why the fuck am I going to listen to this dumb shit? Or, man, look at the look in his eyes. He's being sincere. I connect with him more. Look at the glisten off of his beard. He's beautiful. You know, you have a connection now, deeper than ever before. Written articles, which was the way to sway people for so long, posters, propaganda, all kinds of different things, getting people to buy war bonds, getting the best artists in the world to do the covers of Time magazine. All of it's gotten moot now. Doesn't matter as much because of what we're doing, because of the ability to connect with people on such a mass scale so quickly. That's what's being fought right now. That's what's being fought for right now. That's what's changing. How much these words actually mean, how much weight they carry, how much sway they actually have, how much influence really there is. Is it going to just be influencing 12-year-olds, or are older people, people who vote, people who invest money, people who buy more consumer goods, are we going to start swaying them? Well, if context has to be listened to from this point on, because the consequences for not doing so have become so severe, battle's fucking over. War's over. Sure, the media is not going to change the way they do things. Journalism isn't going to change the way that they try to slant certain opinions against an ideology, a person, or organization. A lot less people are going to be paying attention to it. Maybe next time Berkeley doesn't almost burn to the ground because Milo wants to give a fucking speech. Maybe somebody steps up and stops these idiots from burning that place down to the fucking ground almost. Who knows? Maybe nothing happens. Maybe nothing changes. It's going to be crazy. Isaiah Ross, me and Dave's sister interact every night. You know what else you're going to be interacting with? A little thing called a timeout. Think about your life choices, Isaiah Ross, you little fuck. My sisters, I only have stepsisters. They'd kick the shit out of you. Half sisters, I should say. Kick the living balls off of you, buddy. All right, so there it is. That's all I've got. That's what I wanted to get out. It was boiling inside of me, and thank you guys for listening to that. But now I'm going to turn the show over to you, you beautiful sons of bitches. I want you to call in now. We're going to open up the Skype. We're going to open up the Discord. Discord is open as we speak. I am in my quiet zone. I'll be dragging you in. You want to come over to Discord, go into waiting to call. We'll bring you on. We'll start there, and then maybe we'll go to Skype afterwards if there's not people in my Discord. So let's start with the man from Scotland with the voice you'll never understand, but he's so fucking smooth that it doesn't matter. The one and only Will Dillon. What's going on, buddy? You're live with that on Dave.
Hi, Dave. Absolutely loved the start of the video, dude. Absolutely loved it.
Thank you.
PewDiePie, as much as I'm not a fan at all,
Sure.
but I do totally stand by him on this one. Totally. When I watched the video, it did set me back a wee bit as well about the guy, because it is, like you said, it's just a direct attack on him.
Yeah.
Because he looks like with the blonde hair and the blue eyes.
Yeah.
And I genuinely feel sorry for the guy.
You have to feel for him. I mean, it's like, you don't even have to like him. You don't have to like him at all. I mean, like, I was ready to pounce when he started with, "My name is Felix." I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be pretentious. Holy shit. But it wasn't. I was ready to pounce. I think a lot of people were, but you couldn't. It's impossible.
No. I mean, even the ending to it was perfect. It was a perfect ending as well. Because I was like talking to a few people, and I was like, well, say for talking's sake, just say they seen me. I'm a skinhead covered in tattoos. Am I going to be a white supremacist now?
Right, confirmed. Oh, there it is. You're a white supremacist. Confirmed. There it is.
That's
Scottish white supremacist. Kilts matter, motherfuckers.
Yep, I've got to chase my haggis. I mean, that's how bad, like the media 2000. Well, this has been going for years now. How everyone's becoming, it's bad now. And like you said, and Tommy said as well, like last year, you've seen it, how social media has turned things around, where a lot of people isn't listening to the mainstream media. Dude, I can't remember the last time I watched a news channel or read a newspaper.
Well,
I just
at
can't
least
remember.
half the country, and we're talking, of course, me being American, even not living in America, I still think of the world as America. At least half the country over there in America is still listening because they voted for Hillary. Man, more than I'm just saying. I mean, look, Donald won, Trump won because of all this bullshit, because of all this craziness. But it's still half the country is still listening to the same other bullshit. I don't know.
Never know, dude. Maybe in time people might start to see it different. But we'll never know. That's the only bad thing, and what bad side effects come with it. That's the only thing that can be worrying. And like you said, like when you've seen with the election, like riots and that, and that's the bad side.
Which is nothing new, by the way. It is something that has existed before. I mean, there has been riots and protests to other elections and different movements that have come on. It's the scale that's different because it's fought in a different manner. Now, it's instead of just actions by the one side that seems to be being wronged, now it's just accusations against the other side, calling out its validity. I mean, look what Trump has done. Trump has basically, for the past 4 years, starting with the birther movement, just looked at something and said, that's fucking bullshit. Even if he didn't have any evidence to it, just the fact that he was calling out something that seemed to be very, very possible as bullshit, it was enough to give pause. It was enough to say, maybe that is fake news. Maybe this guy's not doing the job that he should be. Maybe she is a fat pig. Maybe they are losers. It's been enough, and it's grown and grown and grown because people are tired of being told what to think. People are tired of being forced to agree, because if you don't, you're a racist, you're a Nazi, you're a sexist, you advocate rape because you won't sign this petition. Those are the things that have happened over the past 15 years. The Anita Sarkeesians of the world have held people motherfucking hostage in a way of thinking, or you'll be labeled as a misogynist. You'll be labeled as a Nazi. You'll be labeled as a fascist. It's disgusting, and there's a backlash against it, and it continues on with this situation with PewDiePie. And PewDiePie, what he did, the best thing that he did in this video was humanize it, because it's so easy to forget that he's a human. It's so easy because he's the biggest guy on the platform, because he's made a fucking money, because all of your kids, my kids, everybody's kids watches this guy and idolize him. It's so easy to fucking forget that he is a human who fucking feels shit. And when you got the entire world calling you a fucking Nazi for absolutely no real good reason, god damn, it fucking hurts. When it costs people that are working on projects for you, 100 people who are working on a show for you when it costs them their jobs. That's fucking humanizing it.
And like you said, people found that funny, and it's like, well, no, that's 100 people lost a job.
People, man.
Like he said, like maybe it's okay for him. He's got something to fall back on, but maybe the other 99 people don't. And
you know what's funny? It runs the spectrum, because Tommy pointed this out during his stream earlier, that it runs the spectrum from just the guy who's running catering on the set to a guy like Robert fucking Kirkman, who was involved in this. We're talking about a guy who is involved in one of the most popular comic books of all time and one of the most popular television shows of all time that happen to share the same name, The Walking Dead. That is who we're talking about. And he was involved with this project, and now he is no longer being involved in it. And who knows how many people he helped bring into the business because of that project. It's unbelievable to think about just the scope of this, and that's what PewDiePie did. He humanized it, and he should be congratulated for it.
Yeah, definitely. Dave, the only thing I didn't know when he was talking was the amount of charity work he did. I looked into it. I didn't know the amount of charity work he actually done beside the YouTube. I didn't know anything about that.
That shouldn't be a big. It shouldn't be a big shock. It shouldn't be a big surprise. I think I'm glad that he brought it up, but to me, that was the least important thing that he said in the entire video. It could be, you can dismiss it as self-congratulatory. It's something that most people with a lot of money do. It's just reality. Not all rich people give, but most of them do. And whether it be for tax reasons or for public appearance, or maybe it's just because you are a legitimately good person, all that's irrelevant. It doesn't really matter, because in the context of this discussion, it's the least important thing that he said. And I'm not dismissing it completely, mind you. I think the other things that really did relate to the situation, like the people losing their jobs and the actual reaction to his video of calling him a Nazi based off of the jokes and all of those things, whether you thought the jokes were appropriate or funny and not, it doesn't make him a fucking Nazi, people. It just doesn't. Those related. The charity work, it was a nice little icing on the cake, but most people probably feel that Felix is a good guy. You know, I mean, yeah, he says a bunch of crazy shit, but I don't think anybody watches Felix's videos, even from 4 years ago, and says, oh, what a terrible human being. I don't think that's ever happened. You know, it's just, but maybe I'm wrong. Will, you got any final points before I start getting some other callers?
No, Dave, thanks for taking my call, dude.
No problem, my friend. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Thank you, Dave.
Will Dillon, Rodimus8 on YouTube, and Gaming Fault right here on the YouTube. Let's bring in Critical Point. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
Yeah, I just want to put my 2 cents on J.K. Rowling.
Yes. Hit her.
Okay, I don't know if this for sure, but I'm pretty sure she's trying to just appeal Israel, you know, with all that shit.
Maybe.
Fuck her. Maybe, because I swear to God, man, she's just a fucking snake in the grass.
Yeah. She's a Slytherin in the house. Oh, I'm funny. Oh, God, I'm great. Aren't I great? I'm fucking great. What else you got for me, man?
Nothing really. I really don't give a shit about this topic.
Are you a creator on YouTube by any chance?
Nope.
Oh, that's probably why. But you know what? Maybe I'm not telling you what to think. I'm certainly not telling you what to be interested in. But if you are a fan of other YouTubers and you like being able to hear differing opinions, this is something maybe you should take a little bit more interest in, because it's a serious thing going around, and not just in America, but in the entire fucking world right now. The war for context. It's a real fucking thing, man. And yes, YouTube's supposed to be fun, and I think we always like to have a good time here. But this is a serious one. So hopefully maybe you liked the video at least, and you found out a couple of things that maybe get you a little more interested in down the road. If not, go watch a cat video and have a good night.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Jesus Christ. Let's take another call. Let's go to, and I'll probably regret this. Let's go to Wooly One. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
Why would you ever regret this?
Because
My colors are the best.
I don't know. That's debatable. What do you got for me?
Oh wow. Okay. It's just interesting. You look at what people are saying, like the media, Wall Street Journal, and J.K. Rowling, the lexicons that they use to try to shut people down. And it's bad because words like racist or fascist or, bigot, those words actually used to carry some weight. But now that we just throw them at people for no reason, they've just completely lost their weight.
Sure.
And I don't even think that J.K. Rowling even read the article. By the way, the whole thing about J.K. Rowling saying, "Oh, PewDiePie's a fascist" or whatever, that all stemmed from a single retweet from or she posted an article on her Twitter where she said, "Just in case you think that fascism is a good accessory or fashionable accessory," or something like that. She clearly didn't read the article. Anything else she does on her Twitter, it's all retweeting or tweeting out things about very social justice warrior-y things.
Yes, what she is. She's a full-blown SJW. Full-blown.
Yeah.
And that's a word that's lost a lot of meaning, too, because it gets thrown around so much. But it's true. She is a dyed-in-the-wool fucking super extreme liberal. There's no question about that.
Absolutely. And I just take a look at it, and it just makes sense that she would put something out there like that. I don't think she's going to apologize for it, obviously.
Oh, why would she? You want to talk about somebody who has the influence, power, and all of that, and money to not be affected in a real meaningful way. You're talking about a woman who responds to people telling her that they're doing something very fascist themselves by burning books. She says, "I got your money, go ahead and burn it." That's what we're talking about. She doesn't give a fuck. That's the one thing I do respect about J.K. Rowling. Because if you're going to be a fucking feminazi or a goddamn a liberal fucking idiot and an extremist and someone who's going to cast these disparaging fucking potentially career threatening remarks at people that you don't even know, well, at least she owns it. At least she has the fucking common decency not to give a shit. I can at least respect that aspect of it. Don't give a shit. It's good.
And I like that, but I do think that she takes her work and what she does a little too seriously. First of all, Harry Potter, everybody agrees, I think, unless you think it's like evil or something else. It's a very small group of people. Sure. Harry Potter is a great series. It's one of the best things that's ever happened to children's literature. I
agree.
And even for adults too. However, it doesn't mean that you can just keep picking out things from the book, quotes, and then trying to use those to back up your argument. Like, oh, if you read Harry Potter, it's not nice to be a mean person. You can't just keep saying that to people because you wrote the book, first of all. And it's a good story, but it doesn't give you any weight.
It's not the Bible. People always try to translate the Bible, all is it water to wine and all that stuff. The reality is the Bible is a life lessons book. That's what the Bible is really meant to be. That's what I believe, at least. The Bible is there to give you direction of how to live your life. You can determine if it's the word of God or if man wrote it, whatever. That's all fucking between you and your church. I don't really give a shit. But the Bible itself is there to be something that helps you live your life better. Harry Potter, it's fucking not. Yes, there's supposed to be some type of life lessons for kids, like let's not judge a book by its cover and all of those good things. But Jesus Christ, you're not there to pontificate to people on on who is a Nazi and who is not. You have no fucking authority on that, lady. None. You're just a fucking cunt. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And she says on her Twitter, "Well, look, I can have any opinions I want. I can say to people whatever I want."
Sure, she can.
But she's pretty inconsistent about who she tells those opinions to. Like I think it was a week ago, I saw her quote a Pepe dank meme page that said something, and then she was like, "Oh, well, you're being fascist and racist, and that's bad." It almost seems like she's losing her relevance, even though Harry Potter is probably still selling off the shelves, and she's losing her relevance, and she feels like she needs to do this kind of stuff no matter if it's right or if the stuff she's saying is correct. She needs to do it because, well, like you said earlier, there is this sort of culture of if you don't agree with us, then you're a racist, a fascist,
Silence.
you're all
They
these
want to
things.
silence you. That's all that called. You talked
Yeah.
about the lexicon earlier. You talked about the words that they use. The only thing that is there for those words to exist, the only reason is to silence you, is to make you scared to say another word. You do not want to say another word because you just got called a Nazi in front of a whole bunch of people. And if you say the wrong word, maybe you're going to prove that person right. It's not the accusation that gets you to shut up. It's not the accusation of being an apologist for a rapist that gets you to stop talking. It's your own fear and inability to continue to be persuasive and not fuck up and prove them right. That's what really makes you shut up. And it's completely understandable because it's paralyzing, especially when you have something to lose. That's what they were all banking on with PewDiePie. And you talked also about, which I like that you brought up, that she's very selective in who she uses against. She used it against PewDiePie because she doesn't know who the fuck he is. She doesn't give a shit who he is. You think she has any actual reverence for fucking YouTube and the influence and power that it actually can hold? If we could all stop attacking each other and trying to take all of each other down, and we did actually band together like Keemstar was calling for earlier, we could do some amazing fucking shit in the world. We never will because most of us are fucking egotists and we only care about what's going to benefit us in the long run. But if we did, the amount of influence that is out there that is handled, especially now a lot of us going over to iTunes with different podcasts and stuff, we are branching away from the prototypical fucking YouTube dynamic. There's a hell of a lot more influence that's being garnered now. We could actually influence real world shit if we wanted to. She doesn't get that. She doesn't understand that. She doesn't give a shit about PewDiePie or his influence.
Yeah. And it's not like she hasn't done good things of her own. I mean, she has donated a whole lot of money to charity.
Good for her.
But I mean, I do think that, and this happens with YouTubers as well. If you do a certain amount of good things, it sort of feels like you've met some kind of quota, and that means you can just do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
sometimes when you give a lot of money and you do things that, and look, she has done good for the world. There's no question. I know that she's done a lot of great things for third world countries, and she's done a lot of great things for the public arts community and all of that. There's no question. Sometimes that's enough to give you a sense of entitlement that you can basically govern who's right and who's wrong. Sometimes you gain enough power, and absolute power does tend to corrupt, absolutely, that you have garnered enough favor, you've curried enough favor that you can now pontificate who's good and who's bad. And that's especially that's rampant. I'm not saying the righties out there are above it, because Lord knows we've seen some extremists on the right do very similar tactics, but I mean, they seem to do that more in the 60s and 70s and not so much anymore. They grew out of it, but yet now the liberal extremists, that's all they're about. These silencing techniques, and they feel like we've done enough here. Well, because the liberal agenda is supposed to be all about, inclusiveness and equality, even though most of it is fucking just like reverse equality, if anything. But I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. All these wonderful words that we could throw out. So our opinions matter more than you, obviously, and you will shut up because I'm a philanthropist, because I do good things for the world. No, you're just a fucking asshole. You have anything else?
You're just another person. Yeah. I just wanted to know, what did you think of Casey Neistat's PewDiePie versus free speech video?
Casey Neistat's a fucking idiot too. I mean, plain and simple. Look, Casey Neistat, I'm not always on the opposite side of Casey, but unfortunately, more times often than not, he does come off as a sellout prick. And not only that, he looks like Sean Penn from that AIDS movie. So who the fuck cares? Wooly One, thank you so much for your call. Great call as always. Take it easy, buddy.
You too.
Let's bring in Busy Buck. By the way, we are taking your calls on the Discord. Go ahead and jump into the Discord. Also, slap a like on the video if you've yet to do so. Subscribe to the channel. Busy Buck, turn down the fucking audio, please, before I drop your ass out of the call.
Sorry about that. Is that
okay, mate? You're okay.
Okay, there we go.
Much better. Let me finish my plug here. And if you want to donate to the channel, please do so. And as always, we are playing under the instant regret rules. If you want to see a fat man's mouth burn 6.4 million Scoville unit chocolate, go ahead and donate to the channel. If we get to $75 by the end of the show, which I know we're almost done, so probably not going to get there. That's okay. I'll eat a little brick of this chocolate just for you guys. All right. Busy Buck, what you got for me? You're live down, Dave.
Hey, how's it going? I wanted to say sorry about the last time I called in. I didn't have the Discord fully set up, so
don't worry about the last time. Just make it better this time, baby boy. I took your call again, so obviously I didn't mind it too much. Don't remind me of the past, or the future might fucking go ahead and repeat itself. So go ahead and tell me what you're thinking.
Fantastic. It's a good thing you don't have a bomb on this channel.
Yeah, very lucky.
One thing, everyone's talking about PewDiePie and getting dropped by Disney, Maker Studio, and all of that. It's like, I'd never known that Maker Studio worked for Disney before. I don't think most people did. And it's like, who is this even going to affect what Disney dropping him does? It affects the 100 people that were working on it. And it's not really going to affect anyone who watches PewDiePie directly. They're not going to convince anyone to not watch PewDiePie. So if he does this right, he can actually spin this into getting a larger contract with somebody, or getting a better deal.
No question. I can still hear myself in the background, by the way. If you can just pause the video, that would be great. Or put on headphones or something. Right. That would be fantastic. But the thing is, getting dropped by Maker and losing the Google preferential advertising are actually blessings. They're actually godsends, because he wants to move on to the more edgy content anyway. He wants to push it even farther than he has. And people have pointed out to me that he's been edgy his entire career. And I agree with that. He has. He's lived off rape jokes in the past and stuff like that. But it's not the same as what he's done in the past year, and most importantly, in the past couple of months. It is a different ballpark completely, and he's gone away from things that made him PewDiePie into more of a commentary type style guy. Now, because of losing Maker, it allows him to go to a company, to a network, if he even wants to, or just create his own, that is completely more aligned with him ideologically. Also, now with the advertising stuff, it's really not going to affect him all that much, because all that was for family-friendly content that he's not creating anymore. You really think that YouTube is not going to still be giving him fucking premium ads on his fucking videos? Get the fuck out of here. Just not the videos.
I know, it's
that was only for the videos that were targeted at younger audiences, which he no longer creates. So really, none of those two things matter.
I mean, it's like PewDiePie's never made 100% friendly content. I remember I just sat down a few weeks ago and I watched that Happy Wheel series, because everyone was always talking about how that's the thing that got him really big. And I watched that and I was like, oh, PewDiePie's always been a little bit of an edgy guy.
Sure, a little bit, but he's always been very harmless too. He's not, he's that good looking fucking kid with the dogs and making all the funny sounds, and people don't take him seriously. And he's not. He's just. It was so much easier when he makes a little bit of a rape joke to just dismiss it as something, as a joke. But when you sit there in a Nazi-esque uniform and you play Hitler videos, it's a little bit harder, especially when you're not holding a fucking dog and you're not looking as cute as you once did. You're looking like a man now. You're looking like you really could make some differences in people's lives in a different way. It's a little bit harder to take it as a joke, especially when you're not very funny. And unfortunately, he's not very funny. Look, all things withstanding, everything that I've praised PewDiePie for, I still don't like his fucking content. Not for 1 second. I will never be a PewDiePie fan. I am never going to watch his content religiously. It's simply not going to fucking happen. But I am unbelievably enamored with what he did today. So it is what it is at the end of the day. Busy, you got anything else? I want to get some other colors.
Oh, yeah, I'll be quick. Earlier, you were talking about the way that YouTubers can possibly change things, and how it's kind of a newer thing where you're starting to realize you can branch out and everything.
Sure.
And I just had a very brief story about FaZe Clan.
Ooh, okay.
My buddy and I were up in New York a couple of years ago, and we went to a nightclub. Some sort of DJ was playing. And when we showed up, we didn't really know what was going on. We went to the back and we sat down at these booths. We somehow didn't know these were reserved or anything. They were very expensive little booth tables. And so about 30 minutes later, these guys come in and they sit all in the booth with us. I think that we had accidentally taken a couple of their seats. And it was the weirdest thing because I'd never run into anyone from YouTube before. And for the next few hours, we met FaZe Clan, and they were just buying all sorts of like retarded money with Red Bull vodka shots, and they were slamming them. And it was just bizarre.
You gotta get to the point here on
that
this story, man. You gotta get to the point here on this story.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was just trying to get it straight.
Oh, it was just a cute little anecdote?
Well, no, I was just saying that the it's like it is really crazy when you actually meet people from YouTube, and they actually do have, you know, big success, and they can. What you're saying about YouTubers having the potential to make things happen is a real thing, but it's hard to know it until you actually run into somebody.
Yeah, okay, I could see that. That was a little bit of a superficial story, but I can understand the impact that left on you. Sure, okay, I get that. Fair enough.
Anyways, thanks for taking my call.
No problem, buddy. Take it easy. Yeah, have yourself a good night.
All right.
Let's bring in my good buddy from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I think there's a lot of bridges in Montreal, but I'm not sure. Frenchie Ben is here. You're live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
I hope my sound works.
You sound fantastic. You sound sexy. You sound French.
So we won't burn bridges. There's a lot around Montreal.
Oh, that's good. Okay, I was just wondering.
I saw the PewDiePie video. It's a good one. I like the ending, especially.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I'm going to go from the general to the particular. And maybe I could explain more something that I said on another show that we did this week. So it's a battle of consciousness. They try to play with our perception of reality. And mainstream media does. And it's the same battle as when TV came in. Radio was kind of done, but it still exists. So right now, mainstream media and TV, they try to tone down what's going on in the underground world of the internet.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because it's battle for scope. You know, the scope that they see that the internet can have is terrifying to the status quo, to the already established order. And we've seen that from newspaper to radio, from radio to television, even before that with movie. Remember back in the day, the way movies would be generated and everything, you would sit through newsreels before you got to your feature film. And there was always things that were in there that would let you know what was going on. There's always been different ways of influencing, and don't kid yourselves. That is what anything that you're watching or absorbing, whether it be a book, a movie, an article, a poem, it's designed to influence you. If not to think a certain way, maybe to inspire you to do something of your own, or to simply buy somebody's fucking product. You're there to be influenced. It's there to make you react or feel a certain way.
And movies is a good example because Hollywood in the last years, especially, they play with history.
Mm-hmm.
So they revisit the history in their movies, and because people are not that well informed,
people are
they
stupid,
believe what they see in the movies.
Yeah.
And mainstream media is losing ratings. We see it in wrestling, overall in TV, and even in newspapers. So they don't sell as much as they did before.
To be
and
fair
they're
on
afraid
that,
of.
To be fair on that, yes, the physical copies of things are not selling the way they once did, but the material is still being absorbed. Wrestling is still getting absorbed, and now it's just getting absorbed online. So ratings are going down, so people are freaking out about what was happening before. But things are still getting absorbed. People are still reading books. They're just not reading the physical copy. They're reading digital copies. It's the exact same content. It's just absorbed in a different way. So, I mean, while the medium is changing, the media is still the same. I just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah, but in the same vein, we are in a revolution in media. It's more a multimedia world we live in, and everything is more accessible than it was before. So
connectable for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're an example of it. There's a case, and it made me think about a case in France. There's a humorist called Dieudonné. He made a bad joke about Jews around 2003, I think. And since then, his life is in shackles, and he can't do his shows as he wants because he's portrayed as an anti-Semite guy.
Sure. Yeah. Which, by the way, in certain cases, depending on what is said and how it's said and how it's responded to and reacted to afterwards, being held responsible and having consequences thrust upon you for even a joke, I'm okay with, depending on the situation. Not all jokes are funny. Even if you have full context and you're saying, well, obviously, I'm just joking about it. If it's a really bad joke and it's not funny and it doesn't come off as intended, you're going to get backlash. And I think that's completely fair, as long as it doesn't go to the lengths as it's going now with PewDiePie. That's a different thing.
Because to me, right now, I hear lots of jokes, racist jokes, and to me, it's not even edgy. It's not even funny.
It's gratuitous.
It's rarely the case.
It's fucking gratuitous. A lot of people are doing it just to do it because they think it puts the butts in the seats. It makes you more relevant, or it makes people take you more seriously if you're edgy. If you throw an N-word in there every now and then, or if you throw fag around or anything else, just makes you a little bit. People are going to gravitate towards you. Not really. I mean, most of the time, you got to be able to put something behind it. You got to have a little bit of You gotta have a little bit of context. You gotta have a little bit of actual fucking content.
Because to me, it doesn't work. I don't use that language in my everyday life, and to me, it's not edgy. If it's well placed, it can be funny.
Sure.
I think so, because I'm a big fan. For example, for years of Howard Stern, and even him, he changed because, for example, he wants to please the Midwest of the U.S. So he toned down some of his shtick on his shows. For example, Gary the Retard became Gary the Conqueror.
Yeah. They don't. His entire crew has changed. Things have changed drastically. Part of that's due to old age. Part of that's due to financial security. Part of that's due just to straight power. He doesn't have to worry about the same shit that he once had to worry about. So why bother pushing the limits? He is the limits. He could do whatever he wants. He knows that. So why not tone it down? Why not
I
try
think
to
he
sway as many
became.
people?
I think he became something that he wanted to be all his career. So he wanted to become big and be known, and he did. But
Accepted.
now, since he's
Accepted,
with
I think
AGT,
accepted is the word. Accepted. I think that's the word.
Yeah,
He always
also.
wanted to be accepted, and now he is.
yeah, but by the big crowd in Hollywood and the producers and things like that.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because they play with our perception, and to me, it's been years that they cultivate the culture of the stupid.
Yeah.
So as we said, it's now seem as cool to speak with edgy words and things like that. People are groomed to like it.
Sure.
And
Well, I mean, you think
I
about
kind of
it.
see through it.
Well, you go back far. I mean, you look at a guy like Mel Brooks, who in his movies for his entire career, he's always gone a little bit against the grain. Look at Blazing Saddles, for Christ's sake. Blazing Saddles is
I haven't seen that one.
Fantastic movie. Great movie. One of the most offensive movies ever made, in some people's opinion. It's flippant use of the N-word and homosexual innuendo, which is always rampant in Mel Brooks comedy. It's something that you look at and it can be very polarizing, but Mel Brooks is also a great example because he did get backlash over Blazing Saddles, but not a whole hell of a lot. Like if he did it today, he'd get a whole hell of a lot more because people don't care about Mel Brooks as much as they once did. But the interesting thing is he always executed it in a way that was more acceptable and easier to palate. You know, it just was. Mary T, thank you for your donation. Wishing everybody a wonderful day. Thank you, Mary T, for your $2 donation. Much appreciated. You're awesome. Rockstar. PewDiePie. So if you're able to execute something on a way that is palatable and not overly offensive, and if it's just a good fucking joke, there you go. You know?
Yeah, you go for it. I'm for it.
It's easier to take.
Some people that I really respect around the free speech is a guy like Frank Zappa or that fought it at one point against Al Gore's wife. Case the 80s about the music industry in the US. So it was a big case. And so I'm for everybody who fights the mainstream media perception that they want to give us. So I agree with PewDiePie, what he does right now. He's one of the fighters. He might not be the leader, but he's one of them who's going to help the whole process for us.
He doesn't need to be the vocal leader. Just his numbers make him an important figure. And as long as he doesn't fuck this up, because he could have today. He could have. Had he done a self-indulgent video that had no context, that had no actual heart to it, it could have been bad for all of us. He could have made everybody look like assholes. And honestly, I do feel he made a small mistake by apologizing. It's not the first time he's done it either. If you're going to be
I don't
edgy,
necessarily disagree.
Well, because if you're going to be edgy, then you don't need to apologize. If your humor is to you and you're completely understanding and willing to accept the consequences of such, then what the fuck are you apologizing for? You're kind of cutting your own throat when you're doing that, because you're then acknowledging that what people are saying about you is partially true. If you're apologizing, then more than likely you're feeling a little bit guilty, or you've at least questioned, well, maybe I am a racist. And if you are,
okay, you see it like that?
I just think that
no, in my case,
I think it can be taken that way.
Yeah, of course. But I think he just stretched his possibilities by saying what he said or writing what he said in the video or different videos. And now that he has a full-fledged, how can I say, effect, now he's acknowledging that he kind of went too far to prove a point.
Sure.
At one moment
I think
in
it was unnecessary. I think it was counterproductive to his argument. However, I think it could be easily explained by the fact that he's just a good person. I think he
and that's
did
the
it
thing
just
that comes out.
A good human being. Yeah, it does. It comes out. He is a good person.
Yeah, and of course, we know those who saw the video will see how it will be portrayed in the mainstream media, and we know the reality, the truth. So we don't care. We are conscious that they play with us.
Do not be surprised in the next few days if we see major retractions or at least apologies on social media by the authors and maybe even the fucking Wall Street Journal itself. Don't be shocked by that. I think Tommy C would probably say there's no way in hell that happening, and maybe it won't.
I don't think they will.
I got a feeling because of the response. That PewDiePie video in the first 2 minutes had over 100,000 hits. This is going to be one of the biggest viewed videos in YouTube history. Everybody's talking about it. That means it's going to leak into the mainstream media, and it's not going to be able to be distorted. This video is not going, and that's important because there's other videos that maybe the context wasn't as clear. They could be distorted. This can't. Too many people have seen it, too many people absorbed it, and too many people, most importantly, are talking about it. So don't be shocked if some apologies are made and maybe even some jobs are lost. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it very well could. Don't be surprised.
It's a real possibility.
Very real possibility.
I don't think it will happen, but it's a real possibility. And I respect the guy for putting out that video, being real. And even though I'm not a fan, I'm going to support him.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Ben, anything else before I get you out of here?
No, it was great talking to you. As always, that on Dave.
It's always wonderful talking to the man from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, my good buddy. Take it easy, pal.
See ya.
See you.
Ciao.
Talk to you later. Let's bring in the vivacious, the sexy, the smart, the intelligent, the wonderful Miss Mystic. You're live with that on Dave. What you got?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty okay. This is this is some interesting topics that we have going on here.
Yeah, you know, that's why I'm bringing it up. You know, you notice I don't do all stupid YouTube stuff, but this is important. This is real.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about it. What you got for me?
Okay. Well, I have a weird take on this.
Oh shit.
And
let's do it.
Okay. So you keep saying like this is like a new war between you, like the internet.
Not a new war. It's a very old war, but it's taking on a new meaning because of the tools that are being used to fight the war. Big difference.
Yeah, true. I think I'm starting to see it as the new demise of modern journalism. Hear me out here.
Traditional journalism. Yes, I agree with that. But that's been crumbling for years anyway.
Well, no, like, okay, when I say modern journalism, I mean more of, you know, how now all you can find that is reporting anything is just internet blogs.
Mm-hmm.
Internet, like, for example, BuzzFeed. For example, there's one, The Dot, I think it's called.
Okay.
There's a lot of them, and that's what I'm seeing as like one of the main, actually no, most likely the main source of journalism outside of television news, which people barely are watching anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at it and you really go in depth, I feel like right now it's its major decline because they're getting so much wrong. And I'm not saying like, oh, it's wrong because they're biased. No, they're skimming over the facts. They're making it wrong because they want to get, you know, the clicks and everything like that.
Here's the issue with that. They're not getting the facts wrong. The facts are correct. Every actual fact that was put out in the PewDiePie thing actually happened. He did do the things they said they did. What is getting skewed is the opinion. The slant, which is very, very always been the point of journalism. Journalism is not supposed to have those slants. Journalism is supposed to be journalism, not opinion articles are supposed to be who, what, where, when, why, and how. And that is it. I did 3 semesters of journalism. I wanted to be a writer my entire life. I wrote a book. I wanted to do more. I wanted to be a writer. I was very interested in the whole integrity of journalism and all broadcast and written. It was something that interested me for a very long time until I realized it was all fucking bullshit. And so easily fucking slanted. And that's the thing. The slant's not supposed to exist, but on the internet, because everybody can have a blog and everybody can look and appear like a real journalist site. All you got to do is just put your opinion, put your slant in there. And as long as you get the basic core facts, like they did with the PewDiePie thing, and like he did watch a fucking Adolf Hitler video on his channel. He did do it while wearing a uniform. He did say 18 N-word. He did do those things. It's not like that he didn't. He did. As long as you get those right, you're not getting sued. And that is what journalism has become. It's like, okay, it's the pursuit of not getting fucking sued. You know, it's like, if we can say unsued, we can still sway people with our ideology, with our slant, with our opinions, with our fucking baseless accusations based off of the real things that actually happen. That's the bullshit. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you there, to be honest. But like, when you're seeing it on online, like for example on Facebook or whatever, they have, of course, the tagline and everything like that. But the content of the articles are just, like the slant is way too much these days.
It's dribble.
It's horrible.
Sure, it's dribble. It's designed to get you, just like any other type of written word or spoken word or art. It's designed to get you to act in a certain manner. They want you to read something and then go unsubscribe to PewDiePie. They want you to read something and then complain to Maker Studio. They want you to read something and complain to YouTube. They want cause and effect. That's what they're trying to instigate. And fortunately for us, in this instance, they went too far against a guy that they seriously underestimate. They thought
Yeah.
because he had the most to lose that he would just bow down and apologize. That is what they were hoping was going to happen. And you know what?
And they
He
did
was
not know
awfully
him.
fucking close to doing it a couple of times. He almost did it a couple weeks ago, and he almost did it again today. I think he was on that path, and thankfully, he made adjustments, and he didn't apologize as much as he might have thought about doing. Thankfully, that did not happen, because had it have happened, they would have been 100% correct. They would have been able to control the narrative. They would have been able to control how people are fucking viewing PewDiePie and the whole War 4 context. So it's pretty fortunate that they did underestimate this guy who had the most to lose, that he didn't roll the fuck over. Because if he did, we'd be having a much different conversation.
That is true. When you were talking to French V Ben, I just remembered this. You said that you didn't really like that he apologized because it's kind of saying it's kind of saying that they're right. I don't think he was like apologizing. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I did this," and he's like admitting fault. I think he's more saying to A, cover his ass, of course, but B, to pretty much say like, hey, I'm more about a hey, I'm sorry you got offended.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. Like I said to Ben as well, I think it was more just about the fact that he's just a good human being and he has empathy towards other people's emotions, and that's why he apologized. The problem isn't, it's not the intent. It never is the intent. It's never the context. We're talking about the people who are looking for openings to use against him. And the fact that he apologized gave those exact same people that we're talking about, not the people who took it for what it's worth and took it for how he intended. It's for those who are continuing and who have in the past to take the words that he has used and use them as a weapon. And the fact that he apologized could be used as a weapon by those same very people to say, you see, he even fucking admitted it. You see what he did? There will be articles on this. I guarantee you, if there hasn't already, there have been people who are claiming victory because of the fact that he apologized, because of the fact that he acknowledged that he hurt people with his words. There are people claiming victory because that is how it works. It's insane.
Then there's going to be the majority that read those articles and go back to the video and say he didn't admit fault.
50% of the country.
Quotes. They can't get quotes for that. They can't say he said that. No, he didn't say that.
50% of the country. It's so split down the middle. 50% of the country voted for fucking Hillary Clinton. Without any goddamn good political reason to do so. Moore could have just done it just to keep Trump out of office. But the fact is, they didn't. 50% of the country still believes the same fucking dribble. The entire fucking state of California believes this fucking weird backwoods fucking ideology that accusation makes guilt. That accusation is the evidence. It's ridiculous.
Hold on.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. You can't say the entire
98% of the fucking state voted for the woman. What do you want?
No. I'm gonna say something here. I do see the problem with the left these days, and I am one of those lefties. I'm having to self-ref. No,
You're not an extremist.
I personally. What?
You're not an extremist, though. You might be a lefty, but you're not an extremist.
No, I am not. I personally think extreme PC culture and extreme SJWs are the worst thing to come up within recent years. The new feminist movement is the most toxic thing I have ever seen personally, even as a feminist. I'm turning towards equalism.
I got to be honest with you. When I hear you talk and the way that you've interacted with me, there is no feminist in the world who would take some of the shit that I've said to you. I see you more as a libertarian than anything else. I mean, if I would have taken a guess, because I didn't know what your ideologies were, I didn't know where your political leaning was up until this point, I would have guessed libertarian. The fact that you're professing to be a feminist actually kind of surprises me. I would actually think you would be a reverse feminist. You seem to be fighting against those same ideologies that these feminists are fucking trying to portray. You don't seem to be a man hater. You don't seem to be somebody who is exactly. That's my point. And a lot of these fucking feminists, they turn into fem Nazis so easy. You don't seem that type.
No, because I have a brain. I'm not going to turn into one of those feminazis. I'm in Facebook groups with these feminazis and I cry every day. Like, no, the thing is, the difference between many, like the majority of feminism these days and where I kind of lean is they think everything and everyone is against them. And I'm more fighting for the actual equal rights that the feminism movement started on back early 1900s. I'm not reflecting on fourth wave feminism.
I need a second here, because once again, Isaiah Ross is a fucking idiot. No, Dave, not true. 90% of the California voter population voted for her. Who the fuck do you think I was talking about, you fucking moron? You fucking moron. Jesus Christ, what an asshole. But to what you were saying with the whole with the whole feminism thing, and look, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a feminist. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. Especially if you're willing to listen to both sides and you're willing to actually fight for things that matter, and don't get lost in the self-indulgent fucking bullshit. And I don't see you being that type of person. You seem very down to earth, and I digs the shit out of you. So keep doing what you're doing. You're all right in my book.
Yeah, thank you. But to wrap this up, I was trying to get to a point that was the top. Yeah, left right now is that they are the majority. They are the majority voice going on right now. And in my opinion, because they're the most resilient right now. They are the one that's protesting the most. They are the ones that are like trying to rile everyone up in anarchist protest. And I can get behind some of it. But when they're trying to push their cause so far as to skew everything and anything that they see into a story that can turn like a mass amount of people against one target or one person, it's kind of disgusting to me.
Well, yeah, I think that we've hit that pretty on the head on this show.
Yeah, like Philip DeFranco, he doesn't even consider himself a journalist, but he does way more actual like research into his stories.
He doesn't slant. He's moderate. He's moderate on everything that he does. That's why he's effective. Mystic, let me get some other callers. I appreciate your call oh so very much. You have yourself a really good night, okay?
All right, you too, Dave. See ya.
Take it easy. Let's go from one woman to another. She is a great friend of the channel, and of course co-host of Nerd and the Jerk, which is now switching to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time each and every Friday. And of course, she is my copious questions goddess, the one and only Aeon. You're live with Ted on Dave. What you got?
Hey, figured I should call in and give my 2 cents since I couldn't be on Tommy's show today because my bathroom exploded. That was great. The hole in my floor's gone now.
That's good. Yay. I don't know what that has to do with PewDiePie, but it's all good.
It has absolutely nothing to do with PewDiePie. But here's what I find. I don't know if I wasn't really able to watch Tommy's stream or most of yours because of the fucking background noise of them hammering the shit out of my bathroom floor.
Once again, don't care about your bathroom. Once again.
Yeah, I know.
Once again.
What I find interesting is that I feel like not a lot of people are looking into like the business aspects of the news industry. Everyone keeps I mean, like, obviously every news company and every news industry is like, it's a fucking business. Sure. And obviously they have an agenda. But the thing that people keep forgetting is that I kind of have view the news industry as it's oversaturated. There's so many fucking news companies. So the people who are bitching about how nobody is really explaining the full story, nobody's talking about the YouTube community or what PewDiePie's angle was. I mean, if they take the time to actually write what exactly is going on, no one's gonna fucking read that. No one's gonna give a shit.
And
because somebody else is writing about it.
Hold on 1 second, my dear. I got to respond to something because once again we have some just absolute ignorance being thrown in the chat, and I have to respond to it. And once again, it's by PVS Sweetie Pie, which should not be surprised. PVS Sweetie Pie says it's hard to feel empathy for a guy that makes millions a year being a retard on YouTube and has a hot girl. He could walk away and be set for life. Congratulations. That is the most absent-minded, short-sighted, and absolute dickish fucking comment that I have read tonight. And I've read a lot of stupid fucking things in the chat, and I've let most of them go. Are you not fucking human? You think just because a guy, like, he makes millions and he has a better life than you, that he's not worth your fucking empathy when he is being done pure and simple fucking wrong by an entire slant of a media? You think that that is not empathy? It's hard to have empathy for a guy like that when he bears his soul on a fucking video, which is hard. Years I've seen you around. And I'm unbelievably fucking disappointed in that. It's just like, really? You can't have empathy because he's a millionaire? Because he has a hot chick? Oh my God. It looks like we're getting some drop frames. I may have gotten DDoS there on that last rant. Can you still hear me, Miss Aon? Oh, no, I think you're fine. I can hear you. Okay, that's good. But I don't understand that comment. And I'm not trying to fucking beat you up or send hate your way, but Jesus Christ.
It's kind of like how people view celebrities, to where, like, if you have money and you're, like, in the public eye, you're no longer a person, you're like an object.
I don't get it.
I think that might be how that person's viewing it.
I don't get it. I can't. I don't know. Just because he's fucking rich, I can't. I find that baffling to me. If it was something that was in context of something that wasn't as important as free speech, and something that doesn't just affect him, by the way, because you're right, he could just walk away. So what's the point, right?
Oh, Isaiah Ross just put in their 2 cents. They said Sweetie Pie's right. The rich and fortunate deserve no empathy. They'll always look like
Isaiah Ross is a fucking idiot, and he's just trolling at this point. Isaiah, I'm not even, he just wants attention. I've talked to him multiple times, and I know that he's actually a pretty decent person. He's just trying to be cool because he's a kid. He doesn't know any fucking
I love reading his shit every once in a while. Oh, look, there's more. Oh, your chat's kind of, how's your chat? Your chat's usually not cancerous. What the fuck?
There's a little bit of cancer. That's okay, though. I got some great mods doing some good stuff in there. Keep doing the God's work. I appreciate that, mods.
Go Frenchie Ben.
Yeah, kick some asses. I understand.
No one who's in their audience is going to read an explanation of the YouTube community or what PewDiePie's angle was. They're just, because no one gives a fucking shit unless you are in the YouTube community, unless you're one of the 4 million plus. How many fucking people does PewDiePie have? Like 50 million subscribers?
53 million. Probably going to be 60 by the end of the week.
Yeah, unless you are part of that 60 million, no one gives a fucking shit about what PewDiePie's
but here's the
angle
thing.
is.
But see, we're not talking about Idubbbz. We're not talking about 3.5 million. 60 million, 53 million, that's a big number.
That's like, I know it's a big number, but there's still like that giant audience outside of that 60 million.
Well, sure, really, but I mean, like, you can't ignore 60 million.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's I find very fascinating about this entire PewDiePie situation, is the fact that he has that gigantic audience. Yeah. Now, normally when journalists write these kind of stories about, like, kind of smaller ones, so to speak, like the 10 million sort of people, those type of kind of smaller audiences, no one really cares if the article isn't, like, completely factual or completely detailed. Because again, that's just 10 million against, like, however the fuck many millions of people read that particular news outlet. But the thing is, like, PewDiePie is a massive audience. And I don't think the news industry has ever gone against somebody with that big of an audience on YouTube, at least.
I'm reading more ignorance from PVS Sweetie Pie.
You need to fucking stop reading the goddamn chat.
I'm sorry. You're droning on and on. I gotta fucking read something. I'm
droning on and on. Ouch, dang.
I'm sorry. I'm just playing with ya. You know I love ya.
No, I don't blame you, but like, I don't know. I think, like, I feel like the news industry is, like, trying to shift into, like, a different era. It's oversaturated. Everyone's fighting to get the audience attention, so they're pandering to their audience to make sure they don't go to the 80,000 other news outlets they could go to.
I was gonna take a booby shot, but I decided not to when I looked inside of this glass, and there's some gross shit in there. So I'm not gonna be drinking. I was about to just drink because I was like, why not cap this off nice by having a nice drink? But I decided not to. So, all right, Aeon. Final thoughts. I'm gonna get to these last couple callers. I want to blitz through them. I want to get out of here. I'm tired.
Pyox has kind of just summarized my ending point, which was that the general media doesn't really like or give a shit about the internet stars because the internet is still young.
Well, that's why they take the shots.
Like,
yeah, we did cover that. I did cover that earlier because that is something I've talked about quite a few times.
Yeah. I was able to see the first part of your stream because the fucking people who were fixing my floor were making noises.
That's bathroom reference number 4. Congratulations, Aeon.
I know.
Shit.
I'm just full of shit today, man. I'm just full of shit. I'm just gonna leave myself. You guys have a good one.
I'll see you tomorrow night for Nerd and the Jerk. Take it easy.
Yep.
Good stuff. All right, C-Man. We're rushing through these last couple because I want to go to bed. What you got for me? You're live with Dead on Dave.
All right, I'll condense it. Fuck SJWs. I am tired of these people thinking with their emotions and not logic and then attacking anything that disagrees with their emotions. It's completely counter progress. We're just fucking setting ourselves backwards. If we're not moving forward, we're going backwards. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's what it certainly seems like.
Yeah.
Anything else, C-Man?
Nah, that's it. I just wanted to throw a quick little bitch fit.
Good stuff. Love you, bitch. See you later.
You too, man. Take it easy.
Take it easy. We're doing blitz calls. We're getting through people quick. GV Nasser, you're live with Dead on Dave. What you got real fast? GV Nasser, I'm trying to take your call, but you won't answer, so I'll say, just suck my balls. Let's take the last caller of the night. This is it. Sloth Jizzly. You're live with Dead on Dave. You're the final caller. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. Take us home, Sloth.
I just got home. I haven't seen the PewDiePie video yet, but I do have something to say about the mainstream media and shit like that.
Sure.
You fan? You ever read George Orwell?
Yes. Animal Farm, yeah.
Yeah. In 1984, shit like that, dude. What's been happening recently with like fake news, slandering in the media, shit like that, right? Dude, it's almost a George Orwell book, dude.
Sure.
If Hillary Clinton would have gotten elected, man, that would have been the last step. We would have been living in a George Orwell freaking fiction book. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm triggered by an idiot. Never mind. I'm not even gonna type it. Fuck it. Anything else? I'm sorry. I'm completely out of it now. I'm so tired. You got anything else for me, Slothy?
Fuck. I guess not. I thought you were gonna talk to me about that.
I'm sorry. I was half listening. No, I agree with you. I think it's very true. I think it's a very apt thing to say. And most people, when they were talking about Hillary and stuff in those type of contexts, what they would say was, remember, Orwell wasn't giving a how-to, he was giving a warning. And I think it's important to remember that.
Right.
That wasn't a how-to.
Yeah.
That wasn't how to govern. That was a warning of what could easily happen. So yeah.
Right. And the only way to fight that is, just free speech. Stop being triggered by a lot of things. These are like the first steps, in becoming a totalitarian society. You know what I'm saying?
Well, being triggered and being upset and being emotional or being passionate is not necessarily a bad thing. It's when you can be militarized and when you can be easily pointed and used as a weapon for silencing and such. That's when the problem exists.
Right. Okay. But a lot of people were triggered by Trump winning, because a lot of celebrities, were. I mean, Miley Cyrus for one. A lot of people follow her. She released a video on Twitter. She was crying about Donald Trump, and she was just shouting bullshit the whole time. And these people
she's also
just listened
a kid.
to her, and she's
also a kid.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
She's also a very privileged kid who has really never shown any. She's the one who goes with all the fucking trends too. She's also one of those audio sexual whatever. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, she started twerking, so I mean,
yeah, which I
something.
don't. God bless her for that shit. I don't care about that. But I mean, there's a whole bunch of other things out there that that she does that just shows that this is not really the person that we should be going to for political or probably fucking ethical or moral guidance.
But people still do, dude.
Oh, sure.
It was happening all around. Like,
well, that's the power of celebrity, man. That's just the power of celebrity.
Yeah. It happened all over, you know.
But who's following it? Mostly other kids. It's you don't have a lot of adults who are sitting there quoting. I don't know if this happened to you. It hasn't happened to me. I haven't had another 34-year-old and goes there. You know who's really guiding my life right now? Miley Cyrus. That's not happening to me. It's 14-year-olds who are like party in the USA and Miley's right, fucking Trump.
Yeah.
You know.
But it wasn't just Miley Cyrus. I mean,
no,
it was
but yes,
there was a lot of people.
Rosie O'Donnell did it. Fucking Lena Dunham, who's an insufferable cunt. She's doing it too.
Meryl
Streep, one of the same woman who once fucking stood up and applauded fucking Roman Polanski at a fucking award benefit. Yeah. These are the people that we should be listening for moral fucking guidance. Look, I have no problems at all with calling out the fucking ultra rich and all that for being disjointed and misguided and out of touch. But at the same time, when these motherfuckers are being wronged and being portrayed in a fucking unnecessarily evil light by the people who kind of made them famous to begin with, in essence, it doesn't mean they stop being human. And so I don't know. It's a big old rigmarole there, Mr. Sloth. You have yourself a good night. I'm going to get out of here. I'm exhausted. We've done an hour and a half. I think that's more than enough. Thank you very much, Slothy. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
All right, we're done. Done Discord. Closing it up. We're getting out of here. I appreciate everybody for staying by tonight. We got over 100 likes. You know what? We're going to end the show. We're going to end the show with the hat I would have liked to have worn the entire show, but I wanted to be able to hear. So we're going to end the show with the Pumpkin King, because that's the way we should be ending the show, because it's fucking fantastic. I hope you guys have had a fantastically fun time tonight. Hopefully you thought about some stuff that maybe you didn't think about before, and I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a great fucking night. I think that PewDiePie, he threw a right-hand hook for the right cause tonight, you know? And I think it's something that really could help a lot of people in what we're doing. You know, if you believe in free speech and if you believe in being able to tell jokes and not be silenced, like literally silenced by hate rhetoric and bullshit fucking lies, then this is a very important discussion that people should be paying attention to. And regardless of how much money and how successful somebody is, it should never, ever stop you from considering them a human fucking being. So hopefully if we've learned anything else from tonight, that's what we've learned. And I hope you had a fun time. I had a great time. We did a nice video game stream earlier where I proved that I cannot beat Mario, but we'll do more of those and we'll try to beat other retro games. Of course, we're doing all the wrestling content. We'll be continuing to do that. Got a great interview with Marty the Moth Martinez with my friend Andre Corbeil. That'll be up on Vince Russo's The Brand and probably on Andre's channel as well. Maybe I'll even release some of it here. Hopefully you'll be checking that out as well. And yesterday we did indeed film a new Catch 33, which you will be hearing very soon, my peoples. And it's with I Hate Everything, and it's fucking amazing. So great stuff there. So lots of good stuff coming. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it all. Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah is in the chat. Frenchie Ben, McCod, Pittsburgh Boy, Roadland, Lord of Master, all kinds of people hanging out tonight. Even Isaiah Ross being a dickhole, and all kinds of people. Jimmy Cocoon, all kinds of good folks hanging out. I appreciate it. By Isaiah Ross, no more PewDiePie shows, Dave. His controversy is not that compelling. I had 150 people in here tonight, cunt. I think it's pretty fucking compelling. You fucking moron. Okay, so Real Talk Metaphor Messiah, of course, make sure you're checking him out. And why do I bring him up? Because he does my intro, Morning Light. And why do I bring that up? Because that's the intro. Well, how about, because it's going to be the outro tonight. We're going to play it one more time because I love me some Real Talk Metaphor Messiah because he is the voice of the people. And hopefully if you're listening to hip hop, you're listening to him. He's fantastic. Check him out on SoundCloud. Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah. And here is a little snippet of one of my favorite songs. In fact, it's the theme song of Dead on Day Productions, Morning Light. We'll see you next time. Keep it copious, folks. Like, subscribe, and share. Check out everybody in the community. We'll see you next time. Remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. Keep it copious, folks. And peace.
Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah, man. I got this one. Let's go. You ever seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, a pothead like the 70s, a different kind of mind. They say we only speak in melodies.